For this test, I'm going to start with number 1. Number 1 says 63 equals 7r. To solve this, I need to separate 7 from r. I'm multiplying 7 to r right now, so I'm going to divide 7 away. By doing this, I get r by itself, because 7 divided by 7 is 1. This is equaling 1r, and that's what I want, 1r. Whatever I divide from one side, I have to be willing to divide from the other. The 63 divided by 7, that's 9. All right, let's go to number 2. Which property of inequality was used in this problem? We see that t divided by 3 equals 20. Then it shows us multiplying 3 to both sides. That means I'm using the property of multiplication to solve this. Okay, whatever I have there, I'm going to be doing the opposite. Right? So that means if I'm multiplying, I'm going to use property of division. If I'm subtracting, I'm going to use property of addition. If I'm adding, I'll use property of subtraction. And in this case, because I'm dividing, I'm using property of multiplication. All right, number 3, solve x minus 10 equals 16. To do this, I realize I need to get x by itself. I need to find the opposite of negative 10 so I can get rid of this, and that's positive 10. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. 10 minus 10 is 0, so I'm not going to put that down. The x comes down because I didn't do anything to it. All right, it's coming down here. And then 16 plus 10 equals 26. So x equals 26. Let's see, number 4, 15t equals 5. I need to separate 15 from t. So I will divide 15 away. Whatever I divide from one side, I divide from the other. At first glance, you might think this is 15 divided by 5, and that gives you 3, but it is not. Remember, it's the top number divided by the bottom number. So this is going to be 5 divided by 15. I'll have to go ahead and put a 0 over here, bring my decimal up. I know 15 goes into 5 3 times. So 15 goes into 50 3 times. That'll give me 45. Unfortunately, that's going to leave me with 5 again. Well, that tells me that I'm going to use another 3, and I'll get another remainder of 5. In other words, another 3. So this is equal to 0.3 repeating. And that means when I have the line over the 3 as a decimal, it means 3 will go on forever. So the answer to 4 is 0.3 repeating. Right? As a fraction, you could just say if this is 15 over, or 5 over 15, you could divide both the top and the bottom by 5. And 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. And so you could have 0.3 repeating, or you can simply leave it as 1/3. All right, number 5 is not that hard. It says r minus 6.2 equals 5.8. I need the opposite of negative 6.2. That's positive 6.2. Whatever I add to one side, I add to the other. So I'll add 6.2 over here. (6.2) minus 6.2 is 0. So I'm not going to bring that down, but I will bring down the r. And now I add these two together. 8 plus 2 is 0. Because that's 10, it brings you 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 6 makes 12. The decimal comes down, so my answer is 12. R equals 12. Next, move on to number 6. Write an inequality for this situation. It takes no less than 12 people to pull the van. No less means we can have 12 people or more. So P is the number of people. We're going to need more than or equal to 12 people to pull that van. All right. Next, it says, which graph represents this inequality? H is less than 9. If I was to make a graph, I'm going to put my graph like this. I remember that the only thing I need on my graph is 9. I remember that if it doesn't have a line under it, I can't shade in my dots, so I have to have a circle that's open. And if H is less than 9, that means I'm going to point to all of the numbers on my number line that are less than 9. All right, number 8 is next. Identify the dependent variable. The amount of money M earned if T raffle tickets are sold. All right, so we're going to identify the dependent variable, the amount of money earned if T raffle tickets are sold. So what is dependent on what? Well, the amount of money is dependent on the amount of raffle tickets that are sold. So this is going to be M is the dependent variable, and T is the independent variable. Okay, variable. Okay, let's go to number 9. Which equation matches the pattern in this table? An equation that matches this pattern. Well, let's get a look at this for a second. When I increase by 3, right, I increase by 1. When I increase by 3, I increase by 1. When I increase by 3, I increase by 1. As we see, the pattern here in each of these is an increase in 3. And the increase in each one of these is 1. So that tells me we have M and N here, right? Remember, this is like my X on the X-axis and Y on my Y-axis. So we can say that Y is equal to, and that's 1Y, right? Is going to be equal to 3X. So since we're using these variables, we're going to say N is equal to 3M's. That makes sense? All right, and number 10 says the equation which equation represents this graph? Well, we're starting here at Y, and Y is 2 here. And when we have our equation, it's Y equals MX plus B. All right, so B is the starting point, okay? Starting point. And that equals the y-intercept. So that's where the line crosses through y. We know it crosses through y right here at the number 2. So that means b has to be 2. Next, we know that m is going to represent our rise over run. Rise is how much it goes up. Run is how much it goes over. So we have to see how much it goes up from one dot to another. We look for where the line crosses an intersection. And I see that it's over here. I see that there's one here. I see there's one here. So now we can go ahead and look at this. We see from here to here, it goes up 1. That's a rise of 1. Then from here to here is a run of 2. That means we have 1/2. And then everything else comes down. We simply go ahead and see how much it goes up and how much it goes over. All right? So our equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 2. That's it. All right, guys. Good luck. I hope that you're preparing by studying this review very seriously, and good luck on your tests.